I got spirits in a can today. What do you think we're gonna do with these ghosts? All right, I almost ate it. Good afternoon. Howdy there, folk. Back in the shed. I had an idea on how to get the shocks out. Carpentry clamp. You might use in woodworking, construction, whatever. A hand clamp. Is it a dumb idea if it works? All right. See if that does it. All right, we're not working. Not yet. What's it looking like down there? So, if that's the case, let's do this. All right, if that doesn't do it, I don't know what will. Huh? Yeah! Not so stupid of an idea now, is it? Now, I bet you if I get in there with a hammer, I can give it ding, 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 and get it out of there. Funny to me that whoever changed the last one, they just left the bushing in the spacer, if you will, in the hole. Why would you do that? I've got my my hammer that's probably older than my grandfather and I combined, and I'm gonna use that with a drift. A long punch, if you will, to drive that out. The only problem is I can't see anything, and my light is underneath the car, so I'll just do my best. You gotta feel it. Be the punch. That sounded promising, didn't it? That's not all the way yet. Oh, we're moving though. That's good. Can feel it. Oh yeah. Yeah, if I would have just taken 2 seconds to come down here, I would have figured out why it wasn't moving any further. I'm glad I stopped. Oh, I made it a little too tight. Come here. You're holding on to it too tight. Give it back. Geez, I really done it this time. I'm not giving it up anytime soon. Oh, there we go. I thought we were toast that time. Voila! All right, let's do the other side. Right there, that'll do. Okay, round 2. Mind you, this is not the easiest car to climb in and out of. A little tappy, a little tap tap. Tap tap tap, ooh. Oh, that ain't too bad. I was expecting a lot worse. Yeah, that's original. Here we go. Yeah, it's got the bottom out now, so good, good, very good. Can I undo this clamp? There. That one much easier. Jeez Louise. There we go. Cool. Okay. Put the new ones in then. one would think it just goes in reverse order. Not as easy as you would think to compress. There we go. Kiss me, baby. Feels good. Hold me, baby. Well, I want to love you like a lover should. Ow. Oh. Yeah, that'll be sore in the morning. All right. Good. Glad that's done. On to the next one. Kidoki artichoke. Let's get the flammable brake clean out of the way first. Yeah, the weld helmet I leave out here, I haven't used in a little bit. I believe this one came from my father-in-law. Shout out to you, Tim. Appreciate you. These are flux coated, so I do not have to dip this rod in any flux. As you can tell, that's the little area that I'm trying to just braze shut. Nothing huge, but it would bother me. I really don't even know that it'd be much of an issue. But it's potential to leak just a little bit, and that would just bother me, knowing I didn't. I could have fixed it, and that I didn't. Looks closed to me, man. Hold on, do I gotta... I want a hand brush here if I got it. Also, keep in mind, I'm sorry, anybody can laugh at me if they want to. I've never brazed in my life. I can see where some of the braze is at. I just don't know if that's penetrated into where I wanted it to, necessarily. It's a little toasty right now, so I'm not entirely sure. Torch tip cleaner. And if I can stick it through that hole, or what used to be a hole, then no, it's not sealed. But to the contrary, well, I guess we know we did our job. Oh, she's sealed. Okay, I'll let it cool down a second. What I will do, just to keep this clean, is I have to think about exactly what I want to use, but throw something down in there with which I can, like a pipe cleaner, but larger. I don't know. I don't know what I'll use yet, but I'll figure it out. All right, so I just had what I believe to be, and most of these are, an ingenious idea on how to clean the inside bore. That's me foreshadowing for you. The inside bore of the dipstick tube. Why don't you just clean it out like the bore of a firearm? Take a piece of wire, string, rope, whatever you got. I think realistically some rope or string would probably work better, but I think this might be too thick to even get through there, but I'll find something. I get a good idea every now and then. Ooh. Or use it like a snake. Like you're snaking some wire. Why didn't I think of it that way? That's essentially what I made at the end, was it just a snake. This is it. This is the way. Boy, if this little piece of wire is having a hard time going through, I can't imagine what a dipstick tube would be like, so. I'm just an ookie from the Skookie. I think they make a little chainsaw file that would be great to just get the gunk off the inside of this quick. Didn't really restrict the tube much, it's just a slight burr on one side. Got a couple of rough edges right there that just bother me. Knock that one right off. You can jump past it now, but that's not where I want it yet. Voila! Let's paint it, and then I'll call that good. Would have been a smart idea for me to grab the paint first. Okay. Whoa. Using cheap throwaway brushes, because why not? There. Let that dry, flip it over, do it again, repeat if needed. Next thing I wanted to do was get this heater box back together with our new motor. Here's the old one, here's a new one. There's more gaskets that go with this. I need to go grab them. You know what I'm not seeing? Oh my gosh. I was thinking, by golly. Spend way too much time trying to find out where I set something down. I don't know. I haven't tested this motor, so I guess before we throw it in here, let's just, you know, knowing our luck with motors and such, we ought to test it. Yeah, it spins. Like so. Is that a 7/16 or a 3/8 rather? 3/8. So it is. Look at that. Nice. Yes, is this slightly bent? Yes, it is. Well, like I said, I don't know how much video I have of it, but that's actually good looking, but getting the squirrel cage off, not an easy task at all. Is it perfectly balanced? No, it's not, but will it get the job done? You betcha. You betcha. It'll do what it needs to do. There we go. On there. Done deal, buddy. Done deal. All right, now how's that work? I don't know, man. I just work here. Let's take some of these clips off. Got a flat screwdriver over here. What I don't like is how this heater core fits. Not a fan. So I don't know how much fixing of that's gonna happen, but we'll try to do something here. Without breaking the box is what I mean. Okay. That shot out of there with more force than I would have liked. Get out of there. Get out of there. So if you'll notice, this is very tight in there. It's wearing here. There's supposed to be a little gap in there like that? I don't know. It's just very tight, that's all. Which, it's not bad that it's a tight fit, I guess. But when the thing doesn't close, that's a bit of an issue. Let's try something here. Give me a file. File to fit. I wish I knew off the top of my head the names for the different files. Like this rounded one in particular. I know what a mill bastard file is. It's a flat one, right? And that's the most generic one that you'd be taught how to use in like a shop class, but round edge file? I don't know. But I'm just trying to get into this corner specifically, and this looks like the best tool for it. A little whittle away at that, see if we can make a better fit. Are we making any progress? This is probably going to disappoint me more than anything. But I'll do it anyway. I don't know how well you can see that. We're bound like right up into this corner here. I've made a little bit more space there, that's good. I've definitely whittled that down a little bit. Could go just a bit more though. And now I'm okay with that if that seats as I believe it should. Let's just see how she does. Okay, bottom side closes well as it did before. Top side, how close can we get? That might be doable. Let's start with the top then. This is the worst spot from what I remember, so yeah, I think that's doable. Also try not to stab myself or pinch. It may start to look like I know what I'm doing, but I assure you, I do not. Okay, we can get our top side to close here, but what about our bottom now? Oh yeah, oh yeah. One over here. Yep, good. Oh! Ooh, ooh. This, ooh, careful now. I believe this fits around. Top. Sure does. First time I'm doing this as well. So this is for the legs. Get fresh air in that way. If I do one of these, you can see this in there. Cool. Plenum would connect here. They did not provide me any hardware to connect these either, so I'll just maybe a little tape. All right, let's finish putting these clips on, then we'll get her in the car. Or, by golly, we'll try. First thing I want to do is take the, good gracious, take the glove box out. Because I did not do that when I removed it, and I think removing it's one thing, but install is another with something like this. So I think it's in our best interest to just do it this way. And you know what? Apologies in advance if I'm blocking your light. You know what? I need it more than you do right now. So just hold your horses. Okay, that's the bracket that holds up our little footlight. 5/16. I'm just assuming this is how we take the glove box out. Yep, sure feels like it. Should be uno más. Oh yeah, she feels loose. Crazy to think about. It's only two or three little bolts holding this whole glove box in there. But the simplicity of it was what was great. Come here. Come here. What are you caught on? Oh, it's this lip right here. Okay, gotcha. And she's out. Battery cables. Get out of here. Go to your home. But there's so many things on this car that are just disconnected. Another one up here. That I really just don't know what some of it goes to. Let's see if we can throw this heater box in there. Get stuff buttoned back up. Oops, sorry. Hit you there. Coming in hot. Removing the what you call it. You know what I'm talking about. Glove box. That was the move. I can't imagine doing it any other way. It's one of the few times where I'd say maybe if you had it available, a buddy could be a good idea. Oh, there we go. We're there. We are there. Can you rest for a minute? Cool. What I'm going to do, I think, is rob the rich and feed the poor here for a minute and steal some of the hardware from the 64.5 because, you know, it's not using it right now and it's going to get totally refurbished anyway. So let me go get some of the hardware from that so we can secure this bad boy up and I'll get back to you. Okay, so didn't end up having to rob the rich to feed the poor, and I couldn't have done so even if I wanted to, because as I took the nuts off of that was holding that motor and heater box assembly to the 64.5, come to find out it's an odd like cap nut of sorts that also had like rubber around where the threads were. It wasn't actually like a threaded nut itself. I'll throw a picture of it up on screen if I can find one. Otherwise, you're just going to have to take my word for it. But what I did find was that Gramps actually had some, I guess it would be 3/8 size nuts with lock washers that I just threw on there to hold that bad boy in place. She ain't going nowhere, you know. And we'll throw that motor on there in a minute. See if we can connect our cables in here. There you are. You're in the middle console right behind the shifter. So again, not sure how well you'll be able to see it, but you're going to see something. Got to move our hoses, our defrost hoses. Oh, one's ripped, by the way. I'll try to fix that. There. Get on there, buddy. Cool. I don't know if I have any duct tape here that you would use on duct work. Let's see if I can find some. Alright, so I'll show it to you fully here in a second, but I did find some hardware around the shed that I could use to secure this. And I did figure the cabling situation out. I'll show you how that works here in a second. Found some duct tape while I was at it too. I am getting lucky today. Oh no, the light's going out. That's all we got. That's all we got, man. Plum coming in. Come here. Okay, now the trick is, you're not gonna see this part. Oh, you gotta lay in here sideways. Can these sit out of the way for a second? Will they, rather? Whoa, where can these go? Just get out of my way. You here. And you here. All right, that'll do. Holy moly guacamole. Get out of there. Oh, I'm doing this more by feel than anything. No. Maybe what they did was they just taped everything together. Gramps would call these patience builders. I agree with that, because this is definitely trying my patience. I'm thinking we need to loosen those bolts in the engine bay. Oh, there you go, falling again. Okay, let's try this again. I loosened what I needed to loosen in the engine bay, and we're back. It's got a little give, but I don't think as much as I need. Okay, let's loosen it a little more. Okay, that ought to do it. I know I've been saying that several times now, but I'm serious this time. Only if it works. This stinks. Oh, there we go. We got a little clearance. Does the plenum fit over the heater boxes? Does the heater box fit over the plenum? I don't know. Learning how to do all this for the first time. All right, you fell over, but there. See how we're connected there? Grand. Oh, let's not do that again. I think next time it's probably a better idea to, even though it's goofy looking, get the plenum connected first. That's just the way to do it. Well, at least it's together, man. That's all that matters. Cool, man. All right, now I'm gonna quick just tape up the heater hoses. So I'm gonna patch those up quick, connect them, and then we'll put the motor in the engine bay. Well, unfortunately, I think I goofed this, and what really needs to be done is I put the motor in the box first so that the studs can go through it, and then this kind of just will stick out. That's all right, we'll do that quick. All right, folks. So as you can see, motor's installed now. Great. Well, now, considering myself a professional, having done this 2 times back to back, I just wanted to share with you a couple tips. Okay, so number 1, now having had the chance to do it, when you got the heater box sitting down here, that's when I would recommend putting your plenum on. Okay, now when you need to get the studs through the firewall to be able to thread some nuts on from the engine bay, to temporarily hold it in place, I'd recommend just getting yourself into those holes, getting it pushed as flush as you can, then just take a jack stand handle, hammer, whatever you got, long screwdriver, and have something to rest that underneath so that it'll hold it for you. So if you're doing this alone, you can get out of the car, walk to the engine bay, and thread those nuts on so that it holds this secure. All the while, the last thing that I would do is thread that top bolt through and tighten it up. That'd be the last thing, because you want to have some wiggle room and adjustment back and forth. Then, finally, go through, hook up your cables, hook up your hoses to the plenum, finally connect your connectors and call it good. I'm ready to wait a while before I go through this process again. All right, let's get this engine out of the way, scoot over and go get the engine crane set up to be able to raise that transmission, do a little service on it. Give it the old switcheroo here. I changed my mind. How about instead, since that transmission's light enough, I'm just gonna pick it up and carry it over to the workbench, I guess. And we can take the pan off and service it from right there. I think it's just too much of a pain in the rear to want to put it on the engine crane. I honestly, it's more work for me to set up the engine crane than it is to probably just carry it over to the workbench. It's definitely more than 50 pounds, maybe like 70, probably less than 100 though, if I had to guess. I don't know. I'm trying to keep it as clean as I can, all considered, but that ain't saying too much. I figure since I'm gonna build an engine run stand for testing out that new engine before we throw it into Sally anyway, part of that would be me getting a bell housing to use to attach to the engine as part of the run stand. So I was going to take this off anyway as part of the servicing, make it a little bit easier for me to clean it too if it's detached. It looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9/16 bolts. When somebody tells you to use 3 hands, that's how you do it right there, buddy. Tough. There. Now that all the bolts are broke loose, that's when you can come through with the electric ratchet. Make it a little quicker for you. They have to be below, I believe it's, for this model anyway, below like 40 foot-pounds of force before this will kick in, something like that. Because you see it'll just cut off otherwise. So we'll leave that one for last. It's fine. There we go. Okay, that should be free. Yeah, free? Let me grab a mallet. We're free on this far side, but it's this side that seems like it's stuck. Oh, that seems like the perfect application for Hobo Freight. Sponsor me. Huh? All right, lovely. It's filthy in here. Oh, you'll love this. Yep. Let's also just plug up the fluid fill hole here, since we don't have the dipstick in, and not just get everything in there. Cool. Now, move her on the bench. Seems like a job for a putty knife, if I've ever seen one. I'm not saying this thing needs to look spotless, but better than it did. I don't even know if somebody actually used the correct gasket for this pan. Just looks like somebody used silicone. And trust me, it wasn't as if I haven't already spent quite a bit of time, as you can tell. Cleaning the outer casing, it was just, you know, you take off that bell housing, here we are. They say there's a tool for every job, but I tell you what, a flathead screwdriver does a lot of jobs, man. We're just gonna have to clean this thing off again too, outside. This is disgusting. Hey, Gramps. Took the bell housing off because I don't know if I told you this yet, but I got in my mind that I am concerned enough about the engine break-in procedure, and it helped me check for leaks and whatnot, make sure everything's sealed correctly, that I am going to build an engine run stand quick before, so I can test that engine on it before I put it into the car. Oh. I was concerned about how I was going to be able to get that done, because just seeing what we had, I was like, I could probably cobble something together, but it would take more time than it was worth, because I don't have all the proper pieces that I would have needed as far as raw materials go. Because I was looking for more like 2x2 square tube, and maybe more flat stock, and maybe some, you know, 3-inch square tube, whatever. I was like, I just did a whole bunch of searching around because I didn't know where I could actually get it in our area. All that to say that I'm not putting this on hold. I'm just going to add one small step, and that's me build an engine run stand so that I can test it outside of the vehicle before I put it in there. Because I would hate to go through all the effort of refurbishing this engine, put it into the vehicle, hook everything up, and then find out that there's just a small, there's an oil leak on the timing cover, or there's a coolant leak with the water pump, or whatever. And I know it's easy enough to just change out, you know, seals for a water pump while it's already in the engine. Yeah, but like, okay, wouldn't it be even easier if it was standing right in front of me? You know? And I feel like I can make it a bit more of a standardized, more controlled engine break-in procedure if I can monitor everything from outside the vehicle instead of, you know what I mean? Well, just seems a little bit more accessible. It seems safer, and considering all the time that I put into it and all the money that's been spent on getting it redone, I want to give us the best chance possible to have this flat tappet camshaft and these hydraulic lifters made up and break in the way that they're supposed to with mitigating risk of failure. Mm. So that's what we're doing.
Okay. I'm going back to my coffee.
Well, have fun. But a nice little break in the weather. That bell housing was a fraction of the total weight of that transmission. Bell housings are made out of aluminum, for these anyway, so that's tracking. That makes sense. Best way to do this, considering the materials we got on hand, spray a little degreaser on there, let it sit, work it with a brush. Maybe I use the pressure washer again, give it a quick. that we got this thing rinsed off a little bit, let's go take it back to the workbench, which I cleaned off beforehand, mind you. And then we can dry it off, take the pan off, and keep servicing it. All my rags are at home, so towels will do. Finish that off with a little bit of compressed air. Air compressor's got a leak. Oh, well, we're on. Well, leak must not be that bad. That compressor starting up is gonna scare the crap out of me. Loud noises, man. Sorry, let me clarify. Unexpected loud noises. Okay, makes me feel much better. Okie dokie smoky. You already know what I'm thinking. Oh, it's a shame. Should have thought about it. Should have thought about that and cleaned it when I had the chance. Tell you what we're not gonna do. We're not starting that pressure washer up again. No siree, Bob. There we go. That is an acceptable level of gunk for me. Let's get these bolts off. Get the pan off. We'll change the filter out. I'm gonna scoot this to the edge. Scoot this to the edge and then put a catch pan down there. Those look like 1/2 inch. Ooh. Break them loose. Okay, no, they didn't use silicone RTV. The gasket's just that old and smushed that it was squeezing out. Silicone gasket of sorts, I believe. Let's look what we got in here. Oh. Uh-oh. That's a rock. I'm wondering, how did that happen? How did it get all that junk in there? Well, what this means, folks, is that we need to do... That means a lot more work is what that means. Got to do a little bit more of a thorough clean. More than just replace a filter and fill that back up. I'm not going to feel comfortable throwing this all back together without doing something a little bit more thorough now. That's all right. We'll get there. Okay, that transmission threw us a bit of a curveball, so let's go ahead and do what we can for the headlight wiring. Made myself a Phillips. Imagine that. It's the only one not in the box. Factory plug, which is just the crustiest wiring you could ever imagine. This bezel's about a shot now too. Cool. There we go. I'm gonna try my luck at doing a little soldering here on one of the, this would be the driver's side, headlamp connector. Notice how one of our wires, whichever is red with black stripe, has disconnected from its little terminal point there. Yeah, that's, new one of these costs like $4, but it's also meaning another drive back into town. So if I can just fix it, I guess that's the way to do it. I don't know how well this is gonna go, but we'll try. See if I can get any more of that wire exposed. Tricky part is there's only so much exposed of that side that's from the connector. And it ain't the cleanest in the world, so yeah. Putting a little flux on both sides here. Kind of bend this into the spot that I want it to be. Looks like crap. But does it work? I don't know, but I don't need to breathe this in. Okay, answer is no. That is not going to work. Not well, anyway. So I'm just going to buy the extra connector and snip off, you know, from wherever, so we can still use our bullet connector end, connect to the main wiring harness as usual, but we're just going to have a new connector on the end. Okay, so for anybody who doesn't have one, but you're working on one of these cars, doesn't matter if it's Mustangs or if you're working on Chevrolets, Mopars, whatever, there's going to be a Chilton's or Haynes, you know, repair manual. That'd be a good source to work from. There's also going to be shop manuals or service manuals specific to like your year, make, model that I would look into picking up. That's going to give you most of the information that you would need on how to do basic service, and it would provide you with wiring diagrams is what I need in this instance. And this one covers a range of years, so we got to make sure we're in the right year. 1968 exterior light and turn signal. Okay, so here's left side, here's right side. I see they're using, it's a 3-terminal connector, so we're using 12, 13, and 57. Go to our chart. 12 is green with a black stripe. What was the other two? 13 and 57. Our 13's red with black stripe. So we're going green with black stripe, red with black stripe, and then 57 is just straight black, which I believe is the ground. Let's cut into our main wiring harness and wire up these relays. I'm thinking I want to mount the relays in a spot where it's not going to be in the way necessarily. The only thing that's going to be over here is our you know, mounts for the windshield washer related stuff, so we could stay away from that. Probably wouldn't be an issue if we just went right up here, or we could go further back and be closer to our hinge. That's also not a bad spot. Why don't we go next to our hinge? There you go. Oh, you got a good angle on what's going on right there. I can hardly see what I'm doing. Just trying to be very gentle. Okay, there's bundles of wires in here, right? So, and they've all got their own covers, so I'm trying to just insert my blade in between where a couple of them would be and tear open this outer casing. And it looks like that's what I did, so that's good. Did not damage any of the wires, as far as I can tell. Fantastic. And I'm guessing that this is just electrical tape that somebody has used just an absolute bunch of electrical tape on this, because this is not what the original loom looks like. Original loom, I think, is just like I think it has more of like a heat resistant coating on it. I've got a green and a red there, red with blue. All right, where's my green with a black stripe? Green wire and black stripe. All right, misspoke. Green with a black stripe, red with a black stripe. Oh, green and red with a black. Snip these right here. Wrong one. I'm joking. Doesn't matter. It's all fixable. But I am joking, I promise. Cool. But since we don't have the connectors yet for each headlamp, we'll just, from here, connect to some new length of wire in the relays, and then run wires, like primary wires, from our relays over to where the connectors would be, and go from there. Just so that you have a basic understanding of how this is going to work, right? So I've got two 30 amp relays, okay? They both have 4 pins on the bottom of them, okay? We got our 2 wires, right? Our green with black stripe and our red with black stripe. One of those wires is going to be associated with the high beam circuit. One of them will be associated with the low beam circuit. I don't know which one controls which. I'm sure that I could find it, look it up somewhere, but for purposes of right now, it doesn't really matter, because if I'm wiring one to one relay, one to the other, and then I wire those up appropriately back to their own respective connectors, it doesn't really matter if I know which one it is or not. Just make sure that green with black goes to green with black, red with black goes to red with black, and make sure you ground them. Then everything should work as intended. So the way this will happen is both of those wires are coming from, or off of, our foot-operated dimmer switch inside the cabin, right? Then they run up the wiring loom, come through into the engine bay, where you've seen me now cut them. I am going to wire where I've cut from the red with black wire to a relay, and same thing with the green with black. Both of those will come in and then be attached to number 86. So that's going to be our trigger wire on the relay coming in when a signal is received from us actuating that dimmer switch with our foot, or just when you turn the headlight switch on, there's going to be a signal sent either way, right? Because the headlight switch inside the cabin is transferring the signal. It's going to go through the dimmer switch. It's just the dimmer switch is actuating whether or not you're on high beams or low beams. So regardless, this is the way the circuit works. It's coming from the dimmer switch into here, triggering the relay, okay? The relay will then send power to whichever applicable switch the trigger wire is sent from the dimmer switch. Does that make sense? It's going to come into 86, that's our trigger wire, and then coming out is going to be 87, which is, that is going to be our higher gauge. I think this is 14 gauge wire. What is in the wiring harness, I think, is like a 16 gauge. So we're stepping it up a little bit just to be able to handle a higher load, which is good, not a bad thing, right? And that also makes me think then, well, I'm just going to get upgraded, newer headlight connectors anyway, because I would prefer to run higher gauge wire with these H4 halogen bulbs as opposed to the OEM incandescents, because it's more power being run through them. Why would the weakest link at that point in the electrical circuit would be the connectors? So the whole point is to take a higher electrical load off of the stock wiring. Let's finish the job and do it correctly, and I think that's part of it. And then what would it be? 85 is our ground, I believe. So these relays, that'll just be grounded to the firewall, or I'll stick it under a bolt or whatever, cleaner piece of metal. And then at the connector switches, they're also they're being grounded. So yeah, that's what we're doing. And that's in a nutshell how this should work. Time will tell once we actually get in there and connect something and turn it on. Just trying to find the best spot to mount these so that they're out of the way. Out of the way, but I don't want them to get juiced up in the future by the brake master cylinder. Now, that may not be where you would want it placed. However, I don't want it to be on an angle here. I don't want anything to be jammed into the main wiring harness. I want it to be far enough away from the brake master cylinder, and I don't want anything to impede the movement of the hinge. So it's more functional. That's what I care about. All right, let's wire something up here. Telling you, man, there's no better way to do this than in the engine bay. There's one. We're gonna come out from here, run our wires to both sides here. I'm gonna take a piece of sandpaper on these self-tappers that are going to act as part of our ground for those relays. I'm gonna clean off the paint from these so we get a more effective ground. You notice I took the rubber washers that would usually sit on those too, because I think these are supposed to be designed for secure-in sheet metal for like a shed or a structure or whatever. So clean this up, then I'll be able to make a more effective ground. Here, looks a little better, yeah? Yo! Yeah. Very carefully. Let's run those grounds quick then, huh? Not an exact science, we're just making it up as we go. There, right onto the floor, just like an electrician. Okay, one side's getting a ring. Other side's getting a spade. For any potential electricians watching this, I apologize in advance. I absolutely hate wiring, so I am not the best at it. Good and tight. Oh, great. All right, I'm gonna do the other side and get these longer pieces routed, and I'll get back with you when we move on to the next thing. Just to clarify real quick before I forget, there's got to be a power wire coming from your battery, right? So I will run that power from here, trace it along the existing wire loom. Boop, boop, boop. I'll have it come off of the number 30, which is here. It's the one in the back. And then I'll jumper that between the two. So either of these will have power coming from the battery. It's a matter of which circuit is being used based upon the signal that it's getting from our trigger wire coming from that dimmer switch. There we go. Hey, what's up, folks? Slick back here in the shed. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Glad to have you hanging out here with us. Today, got to do a little bit of some less fun things. Got to do a little bit of reorganizing. You notice in the background we have an assortment of lawn tractors. I'm hiding one. See the other one right there? And then two Cub Cadets and a John Deere. Why? I don't know. They're not mine. However, all three of them technically run for now, but some are in states of disrepair more so than others. Regardless, we don't need 3 lawn tractors up in this shed because only one is going to be used. Gramps still needs to be able to get around, get some mowing done, and part of this is me kind of clearing a spot for him because I don't know that you can see it here. Right there, I got the engine in the way of the door so he can get out, and I just got to move some stuff around for him is what I'm saying. So let me do a little bit of shuffling. I don't know how much of that I'm going to show you, but I will drive at least 2 of these down to Coke's house where we did the 1979 Fox Bodies Will It Run. Got another shed down there. There's multiple shed properties, okay? Go down, park those tractors in that shed because if there's going to be any mass mowing to be done with several tractors at one time, it'd be down there. This property is a little bit different. More hills and stuff, like steep inclines. You don't need the lawn tractors for those. Can't say as I've ever done a tire swap on a lawn tractor before, but I'm not above it. I just need it up a little bit. Okay. Let's get the tire off first. And then I'll figure out a jack stand situation. Did it roll on? Oh, yeah, it sure did. All right. Yeah, I'd say that's flat. Okay, jack stand? Anybody? Got a foot under there now, yeah? Sure enough it will. Let's get this bad Larry off the ground. Yeah. That should be fine. There's such a thing as tractor raceways for the, you know, something like the True Green 500. Sign me up for the pit crew. Get on it. That's record. All right, let's get the whole escapade moving on out of here. Naturally, none of these have run since the end of the prior mowing season, so no idea if the batteries are okay or whatever. I should probably check the oil, shouldn't I? Oh yeah. Yeah, it's on there. Kind of dark. Okay, transmission should be engaged. Just throw a choke on there. Pull it out for choke, perhaps? Oh, we about went off there. Not too bad. All right. Obviously the safety switch for that seat's been been disabled. Classic Gramps. I see a nice puddle underneath the John Deere. Although that's pretty typical of those John Deeres, isn't it? Sorry to any John Deere guys out there. Gramps worked at the farm oil plant. No, obviously we don't really care about what kind of equipment we use, but I do like to razz the John Deere folk because they are very particular about their green and yellow painted vehicles. Check the oil on this one too, shall we? Is the dipstick on the fill? Sure is. Way to go, John Deere. That's not a bad design. Okay, she leaks oil, but there's some in there. Inflate to 28. Not intended for highway. Well, okay, 28 in the front. 12. 12 in the rear, huh? Oh, well, while we're here, look, it's the pistons and miscellaneous other parts out of Sally's. These are her original pistons out of the 289. And there's valves and valve springs. Oh, and other bearings. Okay, this one's good. Let's do this one too. All right, what do we need here? It's 14. That's good for rolling at least, right? There, that ought to be fine. All right, got enough oil in the John Deere to run it. Although why don't we just check to see if there's a little bit more around here, if I can tell what oil it takes. 10W30. Okay, believe we have some of that. I wouldn't have needed to add much. Yeah, we're a little bit higher on the hash marks. That makes me feel good. We're about in the middle. See if she'll start up for us. Okay, choke. Choke it. A little bit above turtle here for a throttle. Let's hold the brake in because I'm assuming that's what it would want. Go half choke. No choke. Back to full. Popped off, so we'll go off choke. We'll let that sit for a second. Idle that up, see if she'll move out. Wait a minute. Transmission's probably not engaged in this one either. Will you move for me? Thank you. Do we get the last one running right now and just park it out there so they can all sit there together in a little motorcade? Might as well. I promise I do not run a lawnmower repair business. Okay, that's fine. Maybe I should. Okay, this is encouraging. Is that just a fill hole, or is that just a makeshift plug for our? That's like a valve cover, is what I would call it. Fine. No, it's fine. Yeah, that's standard. Factory. We don't need this, right? What's up, Gramps? Is this our like makeshift valve cover plug that you put in here? I was gonna see if this one would start up and sit out there with its friends because the other two are happily sitting out there idling. I'm going to move a little bit of ways away from the from our acetylene. Okay. All right, there's oil in it. Oh, okay, there's some nice sticky stuff on the seat. I got a solution for that. Yeah. Brake clean fixes everything. What is this bar that's just about dragging on the ground underneath of it though? So it'll drive with it hanging down there? Or would that be something that's loose enough so you could bungee it? Okay, all right. Where's our bungees at? There. All right, let's see here. Little choke. All right, let's get this bad boy down there. How much? First off, how much gas do we have? Oh, our crankcase bag wasn't helping. That's fine. There's enough to get us down there. Yeehaw! Well, this is high gear. May not be common where you're from, but it's pretty common for small town America. I do not believe the population's larger than like 1,000. Well, 1,500 maybe, max. Keeps it kind of quiet, which is nice. Besides, you know, fellas driving their tractors down the road. Did you think I was going to blow the stop sign? No, I'm a law-abiding tractor driver. Okay, let's go get the other one. Okay, round two. Ooh, forgot to check the gas. Well, let's hope there's enough. That one was a bit of a roll and go, I'll give you that. All right, so you see that we've got interior lightage on. I set up something just for testing purposes. Explain it quick because I'm running low on the batteries here and we're about at the end for today. But just to show you that I got this to work. So again, don't know which one's high beam, which one's low beam. Got my ground temporarily wired in here. Scratched off a little spot there. Have our, since the engine's out, we can't ground the battery to the block, and our ground strap was junk. Here's the ground strap that I took off. Terrible. However, took the cable that would usually go to the starter, right, from the negative side, or the starter side, whatever you want to call it, of the starter solenoid, put that where the ground strap would go. Then used our jumpers. Cables went from negative side battery terminal, scratched off a spot, got a good ground on the frame, And then, you know, just snipped off a little bit of the ground wire, connected to alligator clip, connected that to ground so we can complete a circuit. When I pull out our switch, looky there, and she is bright. Good Lord. I don't know if those are the brights or not. Let's hit the dimmer switch and see if it changes. Should. Oh, that one's a whole lot brighter. Yeah, those will do. Those will do. Cool. So I'll clean the rest of that up. Just, you're gonna have to take my word for it. Make it look nice. Wire the other side. Put both the headlights back in. We'll call that good. I'll show you the finished product. Oh, I did want you to see. So I was telling you that I installed LEDs all around, right? Pretty nice looking. Nice and bright white light. The rears, I think, look good. Regardless, there's our setup. Well, folks, that'll do it for this one. Had a lot of fun on this, just even moving the tractors around, goofing around with Grandma, shooting the breeze with Gramps. I'm not sure how much of that you'll see, but hope there's at least some of it in there. Having the lights working, the wiring, feels like a big relief. Hopefully the next time you see me, I am rebuilding the transmission and potentially building us an engine stand, because we are just about ready to put that engine on the test stand and get it broke in, check for leaks and whatnot. As always, I hope you enjoyed. And if you did, give it a like, share the channel name. Word of mouth really does help more than you would expect. And if you did, I'd appreciate it. As always, take care.